Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How you doing out there, Facebook and YouTube? This is your host. This is Mark Calhoun. I am the Director of Social and Community Services with my partner in crime.
Yes, this is Daniel Myers. So close to Valentine's Day, got to have a Barry White voice. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Myers, MATHUD Program Director for CARE South Carolina. Glad to see everybody out there today.
All right. And both of us, we are the Care South Carolina Community Live podcast. And we have a special guest with us today. And I told you on so many other podcasts that I don't like to talk for our guests. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a lot about herself. All righty.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for allowing me this opportunity to share with you all about, what we're doing. My name is Patricia Sullivan. I'm the communications manager for Darlington County First Steps. So we serve the entire Darlington County, Hartsville, Darlington, Lamar, Society Hill. Our office is virtual, but, pre-COVID, we're housed in the adult education building, Hartsville, South Carolina. But yes, what our mission is to provide programs, services, and information to strengthen families and communities in Darlington County. We do that through collaboration with community partners like CareSouth, other healthcare providers. We have a really strong emphasis right now, especially on health and wellness. I mean, we've all been through a trying time, a challenging time with COVID-19. So we wanted to make sure that we were still providing efficient programs and services, but focus on the needs of the people. And right now we have a primary focus on mental health. Mental health right now, that's a big topic for all of us, not just for the clients that we serve, families, but professionals, our peers, our coworkers, our friends. It's hitting us all very strongly. So, we've been working with CareSouth thanks to Mark and his connections within his team. We've partnered with CareSouth and Clemson Extension Agency, their nutrition and education program, Darlington County Coordinating Action Agency. I think that's how you say it, DCCAA, the Head Start program, and the free medical clinic. And forgive me if I'm missing anybody, but we're excited. And I'm just kind of going too deep into it right now. But we have an event coming up February the 17th. Okay, I really want everybody to come to this event. CareSouth Carolina, they're providing free COVID testing. It starts at 8:30 at Byerly Park in Hartsville. In case of inclement weather, we're going inside the center, but we want to just fellowship and get with our community members so we can just decompress. Our families, our clients that we serve, the children can come to. Of course, we're going to wear a mask and we're going to social distance, but let's just walk it out. Like the name of the event is Walk It Out. You have to walk it out sometimes. It's enough being in the house and just, going to work and dealing with all these stresses. Well, how about we just get it out first and then get to the work after that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I really hope that everybody who can comes out to this event, because it's really going to be great. So, yeah, I've been kind of rambling, but I'm excited about that because it's coming up in a few days. And I really want everybody to come out. We're going to have door prizes. We're going to do some health and wellness activities with Clemson Extension's nutrition and health educator. Then we'll also have some counseling sessions with a young college student at Coker University. She's a counselor at the free medical clinic, so she works with those clients over there. She's going to bring some of that, expertise to the group so we could, just do some mental health exercises. And then we're going to go into our physical activity of just walking around. Yes. So.
Sounds exciting. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. It really, 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 really sounds exciting. We want to get all of that stress out. We want to walk it out. What the song say? Walk it out.
Yes,
Walk it out.
walk it
Walk.
out.
That's
Gotta
right.
walk it out. Yes, yes. So that's the focus is on the mental health, but physical health, that's important too. I'm a petite young lady. I'm 5'4", but listen, I don't exercise like I need to. So it's good just to, walk and get some cardio in. And again, fellowship with other people. I'm excited.
Absolutely. All right, so
Yes.
Patty, tell us about this. Let's get specific, right? So tell us
Yes.
about some of the programs within Darlington County First Steps that some of the folks out here in Facebook and those in Darlington County can participate in. Tell us about some of
Yes.
your programs.
Yeah, so we have several programs. We have a program called Parents as Teachers. It's a home visiting framework. So we have a certified parent educator who goes into the household of parents or guardians who have children who are 5 years old or younger. And she works with the parents specifically, and she does activities with those children specifically based on their ages, right? So she has special activities, whether they're, 6 weeks old. What can the parent do with the child to make sure that they're on track to develop cognitively? So she meets with them, each family, about 2 or 3 times a month. Right now, I believe she's servicing 15 families, so she's very busy. And in between time, she does group connections. So she gets with them via Zoom or maybe FaceTime, and she, has the group to come together and just share, talk, and soon next month she has a series every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. She's going to be doing something specifically for the parents, but it's a home visiting framework, short and simple, where she goes in and makes sure that the parents have the skills that they need to educate their child, to support their child, to focus on their child's well-being, and she also connects them with community resources. So if a family, they might need WIC, they need to get the WIC program. She knows the contacts over there. If a family is having trouble with finding a healthcare provider, well, we have great partners like CareSouth Carolina, and we have connections with you all where she can direct them to you for the pediatric services. So, there are a whole lot of people in our community in Darlington County that are doing great things. So she does a good job of connecting our parents with resources that if we aren't able to provide for them, we're going to connect them with who they need to talk to. Like baby net services. I know we used to use them a lot, and they kind of can pinpoint if there are any developmental delays. So she works with them too. So Parents as Teachers, that's a home visiting framework. We're always looking to serve more people. I know we only have one parent educator. We're serving 15 families, but every cycle we like to serve new families, put new families in a program. So that's available to them. Then we have our Countdown to Kindergarten program, and that's a 6-week home visiting program as well that's implemented by the teachers. So we partner with kindergarten teachers, and they work with children who are approaching kindergarten age. And they kind of introduce the kindergarten curriculum beforehand, so that it's easier to grasp when it's time to go into that classroom. And I like the Countdown to Kindergarten program is because they have the choice. The children and the families have a choice of going to that same teacher and being in that teacher's classroom once they enter into school. So they have that relationship. I like that. So, studies have shown that if children are ready for kindergarten, if they are prepared for kindergarten, if they are able to grasp concepts on the kindergarten level, then they'll do a lot. They'll do great, in their school years and their later school years. So I love that Countdown to Kindergarten program, 6-week summer home visiting program. And then we have Strengthening Families program. That's a 14-week program. Have y'all ever heard of the Strengthening Families program?
Yeah,
Yes.
the very little I know about it.
Yes. Well, because of Children's Trust of South Carolina, they funded us. DSS, they funded that program as well, but we were able to serve 14 families with children between the ages of 6 years old and 11. And the focus is on parent-child communication, right? Like properly communicating with their child, versus yelling at them and giving them general instructions and then so much chaos. No, let's go through problem solving. Let's go through specific instructions so that you all are having a more positive experience in the household. We want to reduce the stress in the household and make sure that can you hear me okay?
Yeah, what was this program at whenever I was growing up? Where was this program at?
I mean, me too, because I know my mama, I love her to death, but she could have used some of those tips.
I know, right?
Yes. So we have a lot of different programs. Go to our website, darlingtoncountyfirststeps.org, and just browse around and see what we're doing. And I'm telling you, we can work on some level. We're all about community. Our vision is strong families and healthy communities. We all have a part in this. We all have a part in this. And, people say it takes a village, and it's a relevant thing still to this day, because it does take a village and everybody doing their part to make sure that children are ready, to make sure parents have that support. Right. So it's a community approach, and we understand that we at Darlington County First Steps cannot do this work alone. So we really do take pride, and we honor our partnerships within the community, because y'all are great. CareSouth, y'all are great. Y'all are always willing to work with us and to, make your services available to the parents and the clients that we serve, and vice versa. So it's just been nothing but a pure joy to work with you all.
We definitely appreciate that, and sentiments is certainly the same. We enjoy working with First Steps. Any opportunity we get, we've built a strong relationship with you all. So let's go back to the Parents as Teacher program. You said how long that program is?
That program, she works with them up to, she can do from prenatal age up to 5 years old. Okay. So once the child turns 5 years old, then she, graduates them out of the program. So she can work with them for up to 5 years.
Okay. Is there a specific requirement for that program?
Well, there are certain factors, when you look at the curriculum, they title them risk factors. So if they are in low income households, or if it's a single parent household, that's pretty much the main qualifier. And that's, we work with a lot of families who fall in those two categories more specifically. So the single parent households, maybe parents who didn't complete their high school education, that's a risk factor as well. So we tend to work with families who fall into those categories more so.
Okay. I want to say something, Marek, because I'm very impressed. I'm sitting here listening and I'm learning at the same time. So I do, my department does a lot of community education, right, around substance abuse and around mental health and around destigmatization of treatment. But I understand that in my program is very important. Education is very important. And with your program, I'm looking, the earlier we intervene and get these parents going and get the children going with education and proper communication, relationships, that the more successful they are, which means if we start now at this age group from 6 months or from prenatal or neonatal all the way up until 11 years old, that we've already cut out the need for prisons. Right? Because we increased the education process and we added value back to the community, which means now instead of us putting prisons there, we can put industry there. So it's also been a socio-economical situation when our children are educated early, understand reading, writing, arithmetic, and get a love for it. Not just doing it because I have to, but when they develop a passion for education. And the earlier you teach a child to, just say eating, for instance, if I integrate vegetables early in a child's diet, it becomes part of their lifestyle. And so it's not like I'm forcing them to eat nothing. They love it. And it's a passion for it because this is what I grew up with. So giving them that early start, that's why I understand now First Steps. It makes a lot of sense now, okay? Even before I get to the step part, I'm learning how to walk in education. I'm learning how to walk with communication. I'm learning how to walk with my social environment, and learning how to talk to my parents and that makes it a whole lot of things easier, right?
Yes.
If I could have a conversation with my parents about my issues early on, then later on when I'm dealing with stuff, stressful stuff, mental health issues, then I'm able to communicate that as well.
Absolutely.
And I also like the bridge part of it, where the children who are, being introduced to kindergarten, if they're learning from somebody and they're familiar with that face, when they move into that setting, they already have that rapport, that relationship, and it's easier to learn with people that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And so, this is awesome. I love this program. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening. I'm taking it all in. So next time somebody asks me something about it, at least I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love how you type that. That's it. Our full name. First of all, there are 46 First Steps county partnerships. So 46 counties in South Carolina. So every county has a First Steps partnership. Now, our full name for each county partnership is First Steps to School Readiness. Right.
Wow.
So we understand that if children are prepared for school success, that they will have a bright future. No jail time, more education, more advancement in the professional field, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you focus on the first steps, then everything else going into the future is a much smoother process. So, we all have that same goal. How can we, in our partnership with our unique community, service them in a way that's preparing them for school? Now, we have different approaches, we have different programs, but the goal is the same. Prepare them for school. Make sure that the children, the parents have the support, the education, the resources to make sure they know how to be a beneficial parent, how to be a good parent. Some people just don't know because maybe they didn't come from that, but somebody has to help them. And so we're here to help them and guide them through that process and to make sure that, their family's well-being is great. So, speaking from my experience, I came from low income. My mama, she was the single parent, me and my older sister, and I loved learning. And my mom, she was very busy, she was stressed, but one thing my mom did have around the house was educational resources like books. There was a book, there was some kind of education tool that I could use somewhere around the house, and I naturally grew a love for that. So when we do go into the households of the parents and when we meet with parents, we make sure we give them a book. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So if they have that book, if that child doesn't have anything else to play with, anything else to entertain them, they have a book and they can explore and they can learn and they can look at the pictures and different things like that. So, I can relate to that experience because I grew up in that. I didn't have a lot. I did not have a lot. But one thing I did, I had some education around me, so let me tell you, it really made a difference in my life. I don't look like where I came from because of what was in my household, so I value this program, and I really hope that the community understands what the real goal is and what we're trying to do. Start early, work with us to make it easy for our parents, because it's challenging enough. It's challenging enough. Let's just make sure we're there for the children. Make sure we're there for the families.
Well, I like the idea of giving the book to everybody. My children know that reading is fundamental in my household. It's not busy work, and they think it's busy work, but they don't understand that it's benefiting them in the long run because reading gives you a vocabulary, right? Mm-hmm. So there is no need for you to use slang or use cuss words or profanity when you can find a more educated word to express yourself. So reading gives you a bank to pull from. Yes. And so later in life, when you're interviewing, your soft skills, your people skills, you're already benefiting because now you have words to pull from, and there's not so many ums and ahs and now you have a full sentence, right, without these hesitations. So I'm like you. I grew up I had both parents there, but we grew up in not very much money. But my dad was big on learning. Your education was important because he always made sure that his thing was, if I'm great, then you need to be a whole lot greater than I am, and that's my job to push you there, right? And so I grew up in a religious household. I hate to say that word, but just for the sake of argument, religious household. But my dad was a bishop. My dad was a pastor, right? So if I said I couldn't find nothing to read, there was always a book there with 66 other books in it that I had to read, right? Books within a book. So I always had something to read. And even back then when I didn't want to read, it benefited me today because now I'm a pastor, right?
Yeah.
And so I can go back and pull from that bank back during that time, and I can remember all this stuff. I remember him telling me to read this, And so now having that thing where your kids can come back and say, thank you for making me read. Thank you for giving me an education. Thank you for giving me, most of all, a vocabulary. So whenever I have a conversation, I sound literate and I don't sound illiterate like some of my friends, right?
Yeah.
So it's important that we start early. And I said that name First Steps, man, that's deep. And people don't understand how deep that is.
That's right.
Because I got to go to church for a minute, Mark. You know how I do every now and then.
Let's go, brother.
Because the Bible says that the footsteps of a good man are ordered by God, but it said footsteps, right? And so whenever we order our children's steps through proper education, early intervention, then we can almost guarantee successful adulthood.
That's it.
So thank you, First Steps, for being who you are in our 46 county, because regardless of what Robert Wood Johnson say about our lack of, they need to start expressing what we're great at.
Yeah.
And we're great at early intervention.
Yeah.
And I love
that. Yeah.
Yes, you got to start with the root. He can't look at the tree and figure out what's wrong with the tree unless you look at the root first, right?
Look at the root. Good point. I like that. You got to look at the root. I definitely like that.
The root. One thing about us is we're problem solvers. Like this mental health kick that we're on right now, the walk that we're doing next week on the 17th, because we're looking at the roots. Okay. Yeah, we have programs and services. Yeah, we have data and outcomes that we're supposed to be reporting on, and we will get that reported. But let's get to their mental. Let's look at their mental state, because we can give them so much. It's good, but if it's not processing, then it's in vain. So we need that information to process. We need to remove the junk, right? The stress, whatever is blocking and hindering them from receiving. Let's tackle that. And even the professionals, because we're the one delivering it. We are the messengers. So we need to make sure that our cups are full so that we can service other people. So mental health right now is super important, and we really should take it seriously and make sure that we understand who we're serving in the times that we're in right now.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I know one other program that, and when we started working with you guys, this was one of the programs that we started out when we kind of built that relationship. Are y'all still tackling teen pregnancy?
Yes. See, there's so much. And listen, you got to remind me, Mark, because there's so much going on. So we still do focus on sexual health, reproductive health. We started out working with teens because one thing a few years back, about 4 or 5 years back, we started to realize that we were servicing a lot of teenage parents. And so we said, what, again, focusing on the need, the problem, and the solution. So what can we do to prevent these young moms from getting pregnant so early? So we put in some teen pregnancy prevention education through, educating them about birth control, right? Family planning, understanding how your body works. So right now we literally have 2 certified family planning health workers that's on our team, and they are trained to work with parents of any age, or any male or female of reproductive age, right? So if you are able to produce, we need to talk to you so that you aren't having any unplanned or unwanted pregnancies, because, oftentimes when people do get in those circumstances, that can lead to child abuse and neglect, because they might not have wanted to be in this situation. You know what I'm saying? They might not have the resources, and they're mad and they're taking it out on their children. So we want to prevent that from even happening. So let's focus on the root of it all. All right. How can we help you plan out your pregnancies? We do understand you want to have children one day. Maybe you don't want to have children one day. Well, let's do a reproductive life plan with you. All right. We're going to go through your options, what's available to you right now. What's your best option? So our family planning health workers, they work with, like I said, females, males of reproductive age, just to make sure that they are educated and understand what resources are available to them. Yes, and
Absolutely.
we do have the ACDC program,
There you go. That's what I want you to go.
Access Condoms in Darlington County. So yes, we do give out condoms because we know that's the most easy, accessible way of, birth control for men and women. So what we did, we partner with individuals, leaders in the community, barbershops, beauty salons to just give them condoms. So, every few months, we just make sure that our partners throughout the community have their inventory. You're good on condoms, right? They have a label, a sticker on their window somewhere in the shop that people know, okay, this is where the condoms are. This is where I can get the condoms. And they go in the safe spots, so the bathrooms or wherever that place may be in that barbershop. And they just go and get how many you need. So our responsibility is just to make sure that our partners have that inventory because people are sexually active, right? So we want to make sure that
That's
they're
reality.
safe. Yes, so we want to make sure they're safe, and that they are protecting themselves.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yes.
And for the fathers out there, who are part of those kids' lives, and at least we hope they are, right?
Yes.
Um, y'all kind of work with another one of our community partners from time to time to kind of get the fathers some of that their needs taken care as well, right?
Yeah, we did. We once upon a time had a place called the Dad Cave, right? So,
Yes, the dad cave.
yes, the Dad Cave, and we're going to relocate. We had to move our equipment and our furniture out of the Dad Cave. We're still, figuring out what's our next location for the Dad. Yeah, that's it. Yes, because we wanted to focus on our men too. Let's not forget about our men out there in the community who need some support and some education, right? And a shoulder to lean on. We work a lot with women naturally, but we created the
Mhm.
Dad Cave to be a safe place for them to learn and to, meet with peers in a place that's friendly, right? So on one side, you got the fun. You got a pool table. We had the pool table. We had a TV, the lounge area, and then on the other side is some more serious. Okay, let's talk. What problems are you having as a father, or maybe with your child's mother? How can we help you? So we worked a lot with the man-to-man program on that. So fathers are important. We do
Yeah.
have a special emphasis on men's health right now, especially
Mhm.
African American men, because we've had two young men. I know one that I can remember specifically, the Black Panther. What was his name?
Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, he was very young,
T'Challa.
right?
Yep.
Very, very young, but he passed away because of colon cancer, right? Was it
Yeah.
colon cancer? So we have a special emphasis on men's health to African American men because there's a stigma around us, our men of color going into the healthcare providers and getting their regular checks. So we want to make sure we're breaking down those barriers and those social constructs that might have them a little hesitant to get their regular checkup. So yes, men are very important to us.
I definitely appreciate that. Because just knowing working with you guys and seeing the emphasis, like you say, you naturally working with women, but if that man is in the home, y'all do a lot to embrace that man, and if he needs assistance, y'all are there to help provide that assistance and direction.
Yes.
And coordination if necessary. So I really, really, really enjoy you coming on here today and talking about your program. I mean, this is some really good work you guys are doing over there at Darlington County First Steps. You got anything else you want ask D before we kind of wrap up, sir?
Well, just one thing. I really appreciate this. Every day that you learn something, um, it adds value to your day.
Yes.
And today, what I learned today is priceless. So I'm more valuable now than I was an hour ago. And thank you
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
program. Thanks for giving me the knowledge I need to at least give somebody a general idea of what you guys do. And also, we know that we get your contact information so that we can send them on to they can get more in-depth information about your program. And you said you had 46 different branches or 46 different elements of first steps in all counties. And so everybody that's listening, they can maybe get the information from their county to find out what they need to do to get involved in this program if they're not already involved. But thank you so much for this opportunity. Really.
Thank you for having me. And for more information, like I said, go to our website, darlingtoncountyfirststeps.org. We have an online referral form. So if people want to, self-enroll, we have a form for that. We have a service request forms because we do have some services, some tangible items that we're able to give to families like diapers, wipes, baby clothing, and different things like that. And let me just put a shameless plug in there now. We're open to diaper donations because that goes fast because it's a need. It's a high need. So if y'all have any diapers, boxes of diapers that has not been opened, please feel free to make a donation to Darlington County First Steps. It would help our families tremendously.
Marek, that would be the perfect thing to know about 3 or 4 months ago with Junior, huh? I got a grandson who's a year old. He's about 50 pounds, so he's been out of Pampers for a long time. He's a big guy. And so we had a lot of stuff that we had to give away, and we didn't know where to give it. So now that we know, we can pass the word along to get that donation First Steps.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, this is probably one of the most important questions that we've always asked our guests before leaving. So what does Patricia do when she's not Miss First Steps? Communications manager.
All right. Well, if I could be candid here, I'm a service person at heart, right? So I'm always working. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I work with her all the time. Like I'm on call for this little girl. So I'm a mom, but I spend time in another work of service in the financial services industry, and I help families financially, educating them with financial literacy. That is super important because if my mother would have known what I know today, her life, she would not still be working 2 jobs. She would be retired, Right. So I really believe when people know what is financially available to them and they apply that knowledge, that's power. It's one thing to have the knowledge, but when you apply that knowledge, that's power. And I mean, we live in North America and the world revolves around the coin, right?
That's right.
So it's important to know what is the best way to use your money and to have your money work for you. So I do that too. So when I finish being a first stepping, and I make sure my daughter's good, then I work on families and communities in another lane and specifically with their finances.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate that. We definitely do. Thank you for coming on and being a guest with us and sharing your information with your program with us. If you could, one more time, how can we get in touch with you guys?
Yes, so find us on Facebook, Darlington County First Steps. That's our main way of communicating. We have recently created a YouTube page, so you can find us, Darlington County First Steps, on there. You'll see Mark, he's on there too. We had a partner spotlight moment. You'll see our family planning health worker. She's just going over some of the services that she provides on there as well. And then, our hub of resources is our website. So darlingtoncountyfirststeps.org. Just browse. You can contact us on there. Find out more about us.
All right. We definitely appreciate you coming on. And if you wanted more information about Patricia, she just gave you that information. More information about CareSouth Carolina, you can check us out on Facebook at CareSouth Carolina. We're on Twitter, IG, and also our brand new revamped website, www.caresouth-carolina.com, www.caresouthcarolina.com. You can catch information on CareSouth Carolina, catch other episodes of the CareSouth Carolina Community Live podcast. You can also find CareSouth and Community Live podcast on YouTube. All right, on YouTube. All right, so we thank you again, Miss Patricia, and you have a wonderful weekend. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Marek. I was just asked to just a public service announcement. Just a heads up for everybody that's taking the vaccines. We noticed that there's been some issues with some concerns about a situation that happened with a few people. It's called COVID arm. And when you're taking the Moderna vaccine, it leaves a red circle, around your arm. We just want everybody to know that's part of the process. It's a little uncomfortable. It's not painful. It's not an infection. It's just a reaction. And so usually it goes away, and it appears at least it can appear up to 2 weeks after you get your initial vaccine, but it's not dangerous. It's no health issue. There might be a little, it might itch a little bit, but it soon goes away. And so I was advised to let everybody know if you have that issue, just apply a hot compress, take any antihistamines or anything to help with itching, and you should be fine. You should be okay. Do not let this stop you from getting the vaccine, and do not let it stop you from getting the second one because you had this reaction, okay? That's just part of the process. It's a natural thing with some vaccines, but this one's a little more pronounced, okay? But it's not a sign of something is wrong, all right? If you got any concerns, consult your physician and ask them about it and let them explain that a little more in detail about this. It's called COVID arm, okay? But it's nothing to be worried about at this point. Everything is fine, so just come on back in and get your second vaccine. And if you're in the group that's getting theirs now, please make your appointment and get the vaccine done so we can take these masks off. And I told y'all, so we can stop looking like little mad bulldogs, around people, all right? So people can see our face, right? And I don't know who nobody is with these masks on. So we're going to have to work hard so we can get back to a sense of normalcy where we can start seeing people's faces and we can go out and take a deep breath without worrying about inhaling COVID. Okay, so let's get it done, y'all.
All right. Appreciate that PSA.
No
appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is CareSouth Carolina Community Live Podcast. We'll see you next Friday.
Peace out.